Welcome to today's deep dive. Um, Ever wonder why a really long AI chat just, suddenly slows to an absolute crawl?
Oh,
Or maybe crashes entirely?
yeah, it's super frustrating for users.
Right. And you might think the model is just struggling with harder math. But looking at system architectures like vLLM and Hugging Face TGI, the real culprit isn't compute at all. It is actually a memory crisis.
Exactly. I mean, the compute is just sitting idle when you hit that lag. You are basically waiting on memory bandwidth. And to understand why, you really have to look at the mechanics of how a large language model processes a conversation, token by token.
Okay, so let's unpack this for everyone. I know the AI doesn't, recalculate your entire prompt from scratch every single time it generates a new word, because that would take an astronomical amount of time.
Oh, yeah, completely impossible.
Right, so instead it saves its intermediate mathematical states, which is the KV-cache, right? It's kind of like an author writing a story. They don't reread their entire manuscript from page one just to write the next word. They just hold the context in their working memory.
That is a great way to put it, actually. As the AI generates text, it computes attention scores against all the preceding words, to understand the context. The keys and values are the mathematical representations of those past tokens. So by caching them in the GPU's memory, the model only has to compute the attention for the absolute newest token.
That makes perfect sense. So the KV-cache is essentially this massive growing matrix in the VRAM. But, I mean, why is this a crisis? Memory allocation is a totally solved problem. We just assign it space, don't we?
Well, we do, but with LLMs, you are dealing with a completely unpredictable output length. You just don't know if your prompt will trigger a single sentence response or like a 3,000-word essay.
True, you really can't know ahead of time.
Exactly. So because legacy systems couldn't predict the needed memory dynamically, they pre-allocated massive contiguous chunks based on the model's absolute maximum sequence length.
Wait, hang on. So I've asked for a quick summary that generates maybe 50 tokens.
Huh.
The system might have locked down a continuous block of memory for 8,000 tokens just to be safe.
Yeah, that is the harsh reality of static allocation. And that locked memory cannot be used by anything else at all.
Wow, that seems so inefficient.
It creates severe external and internal fragmentation. I mean, early implementations were wasting 60 to 80% of the GPU's memory on empty reserved space.
80%, that is insane. So if you can't predict the output length, and you obviously can't just pause and reallocate memory on the fly without crashing the GPU, are we just permanently stuck wasting that space?
Not anymore. The researchers behind vLLM looked at this bottleneck and solved it by dusting off a decades-old operating system technique:
Okay, color me intrigued. What is it?
virtual memory paging. They built a system called PagedAttention. So instead of forcing the KV cache into one giant contiguous block, it divides the memory into small fixed-size pages, say 16 tokens per block.
Oh, I think I see where this is going. So instead of booking an entire row at a movie theater just in case your whole friend group might show up, the system separates the concept of the group from the physical seats.
Yes, exactly.
So it just maps your friends to individual, scattered, non-adjacent seats as they actually arrive.
You nailed it. The block tables handle exactly that translation. The logical sequence of the conversation stays perfectly intact in the system's brain.
Right.
But physically, those 16 token blocks can be scattered anywhere in the GPU memory. This drops memory waste from 80% down to about 4%.
That is a massive difference.
It really is. It even lets different requests safely share memory blocks if they use the exact same system prompt.
I am a little confused on one thing, though. I get how this saves huge amounts of space. But less memory waste doesn't automatically equal faster math. How does this unlock those massive 2 to 4 times throughput boosts we see in these systems?
Well, that is because memory was the ceiling holding back the batch size. When you free up all that VRAM, you can process vastly more concurrent requests.
Okay, so more requests at once.
Exactly. But more importantly, it allows for continuous batching. In a traditional setup with static batching, the GPU groups requests together, but it has to wait for the absolute longest request in that batch to finish before moving on.
So it's trapped. It's waiting for the slowpoke prompt to finish its novel, while the rest of the GPU cores just sit there doing absolutely nothing.
Right, they're just twiddling their thumbs.
Yeah.
But with PagedAttention's dynamic memory, the scheduler can operate at a token level instead.
Oh, wow.
The millisecond a short request finishes, the system immediately evicts its memory blocks and slots a brand new request into that empty space for the very next step. The hardware never waits.
So the GPUs are just constantly saturated. Every single cycle is fully utilized.
Yeah, it transforms an erratic, unpredictable memory drain into a highly controlled, continuous assembly line.
That is fascinating. So what this all means for you is that scaling AI isn't just about throwing faster chips at the math. It is fundamentally a memory management problem.
100%.
It is about how efficiently we can shuffle and store data. Which honestly leaves me thinking, if we solved one of the most complex bottlenecks in modern AI using virtual memory tricks from decades ago, what other legacy computing concepts are just sitting there waiting to be rediscovered to power the future of AI hardware?